fresh out of seeing Spider-Man No Way Home, so forgive me as I try to collect my thoughts a little bit on just everything that I've witnessed. But the first thing I'm going to very clearly say right now is that this is a spoiler warning for everything that happens in Spider-Man No Way Home. I will not talk about the specific details of the movie. This video specifically is going to be about the post-credit scene, but I might reference some things here and there about the movie itself. But so I'm just going to say spoiler warning for the entirety of No Way Home and or the post-credit scenes especially, because specifically it's the post-credit scenes right now. So the first post-credit scene, right? So the first post-credit scene, we get a little insight on what's going on with Eddie Brock in like his little island getaway type hotel thing that he's in. And he's trying to wrap his head around kind of what just happened. Obviously, this is a play off of what happened in the Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene when he got seemingly transported to the MCU momentarily. And then, it's just kind of a funny little scene, cracking jokes back and forth with the bartender trying to wrap his head around Thanos and stuff like that. But then, to my surprise, everybody's surprise really, all of a sudden Eddie Brock gets transported out of the MCU as what happened at the end of the actual movie. So, and then obviously after the dust kind of clears of him teleporting away, it zooms on the table to find a little black spot that's just sitting here that he left behind that then moves at the very end. So let's talk about this post-credit scene first. So on the surface level, it's very clear that Tom Hardy is going back to his own Venom universe along with all of the Sony products, and he left a bit of his symbiote behind. So obviously that little piece of symbiote is supposed to signify that at some point our MCU Spider-Man will encounter Venom at some point in time. I don't know if that'll be the immediate next movie or not. But if we're also talking straight logistics, like the logistical decision to do this from Sony, it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Because so far, Sony has been making its own series of Marvel movies. We got Venom so far, and then we got Morbius. They were talking about doing a Kraven the Hunter, a Black Cat. They've been talking about building their own type of Sony Marvel universe over on their side. So obviously, it is kind of a little bit of a letdown that we didn't get to see Eddie Brock's Venom go up against Tom Holland's Spider-Man. At least I should say not yet, because you never know. Obviously, right now, it looks like that door is closed, albeit the door is not closed for Tom Holland's Spider-Man to fight Venom in general. But this decision makes sense because this allows kind of everybody to be happy on all ends. This allows Venom, Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock and Venom to go back to their own Sony universes, and this allows Sony to continue to do its own thing and make its own properties like Morbius and so on and so forth. So while Sony is still doing this, this also allows a version of Venom to be in the MCU, and we can actually see a different version of Venom and potentially a different version of Eddie Brock in the MCU go up against Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So logistically, that's clearly the main decision. I feel like that was the main factor of everything. I can definitely understand kind of the cock block, if you will, when just like you literally just put Eddie Brock in the movie or in the MCU just to take him right back out. It's kind of hurt a little bit. So now let's talk about this big second one, right? And the second one is going to be a lot harder to talk about because it was obviously the entire first trailer to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So it's going to be very hard to talk about everything that they showed in this trailer. So I'm just going to kind of hit the first big things because obviously I've only seen this movie once and I've only seen this trailer once because it's not available online yet. So obviously the key details that I would take away here is we got our first look at America Chavez, which we already knew because they've already confirmed America Chavez. We got some good looks at Scarlet Witch kind of just being the Scarlet Witch and like her outfit that we saw at the end of WandaVision. One of the things that I appreciate from Multiverse of Madness that we saw out of this post-credit scene is that it's very bleak and it is very kind of just horror-ish. Like it just looks very cool. Like kind of if you're familiar with the game Bloodborne or stuff like that or Dark Souls, that's the type of vibe that this Doctor Strange trailer, I should say most of the Doctor Strange trailer gave. So I'm honestly pretty excited at the tone that it did set. And then we see a scene where Doctor Strange is actually fighting Shuma Gorath. He's fighting, or I should say what appears to be Shuma Gorath, because we obviously don't know for sure. If you ask me, it looks like Shuma Gorath, and Shuma Gorath is what's been rumored this whole time. So he's fighting Shuma Gorath in the middle of the street, which is honestly surprising that they just showed Shuma Gorath like that. It almost makes me feel like Shumagorath is a red herring of sorts. Like, they're showing Shumagorath off in the trailer, and he will be a kind of threat to Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness, but he won't be the actual main villain. We did get our look at Mordo as well. It kind of looks like Strange went to Mordo for help, based off of what I can remember, and then Mordo turns him down. So I don't think, even though they were kind of setting Mordo up to be an antagonistic figure in the first one with the post-credit scene, I don't know if he's going to be one in this movie. And probably the biggest thing out of this post-credit scene, the very end of the trailer, which I guess a lot of people, I was honestly expecting it at some point, but a lot of people weren't expecting it. We see a crossover between, obviously, Multiverse of Madness into What If, where we see our MCU Doctor Strange confronting the ultimate dark Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme that we saw in What If. Obviously, he's still playing himself in live action and stuff. So that's obviously very cool because, I mean, What If was already canon to the multiverse and stuff, right? There's no doubt there. But it is obviously cool to see things in What If to cross over into live action, because it means that we can potentially see a live action Captain Carter. We could potentially see like a Ultra Vision with the Infinity Stones and stuff, a Black Panther Killmonger. There's the possibilities for What If crossing over into the live action MCU is limitless now. So that's all I have to say about the Multiverse of Madness trailer. It was given a pretty basic exposition. I can't watch the trailer in depth right now because it's still just the post-credit scene of No Way Home. But if you've seen No Way Home, go ahead and comment down below if you enjoyed it, and if you think these post-credit scenes were pretty hype. I'm going to release my reviews here in the coming days, and I appreciate you for watching the video.